Ready or Not, the tactical shooter from Void Interactive.
On you. I'll do it.
This isn't a game that shouts for your attention with explosions or cheap thrills. It whispers, pulling you into a city, Los Sueños, where every corner is a story, every shadow carries weight. It's horrifying in its realism, beautiful in its tragedy. And I want to take you through why it lingers with me after I put the controller down. The first thing you notice in Ready or Not is the silence. Not the kind that comforts, but the kind that suffocates. Los Sueños isn't just a backdrop, it's a character, carved out of the despair of the residents. Mass strikes with the banco and the sanitary department leave the city streets looking like something out of an apocalypse film. Take the Twisted Nerve mission, a meth house that holds drug addicts hiding from the city, in a place that is shockingly less dangerous than being outside, as when you look at 213 Park Homes, the location of this mission, the situation is grim for the residents. The air is thick with dust, the floors are littered with syringes and crumpled papers. You'll find a children's drawing smudged and pinned to the wall. As you venture deeper, you'll find a room with a child inside, laying on the bed with a used needle. They're convulsing, clearly overdosing, but are powerless to help them. This is one of the more harrowing moments. Then there's some more details. Blood smeared across a countertop, an incredibly bloody toilet, which, in matter of fact, is a side effect of heroin, as your body starts to destroy itself from the inside, destroying your organs, which then expel out of your rear end. The game doesn't shy away from showing you the wreckage of lives. Every room feels like a crime scene frozen in time, and as you move through it, you almost can hear the echoes of what happened here. It's horrifying because it's so real, and beautiful because every detail, big or small, builds a world as real as our own, which is incredibly impressive for a video game, especially in first-person shooters. The weight of every step. The gameplay carries weight. You're not some hero storming in, guns blazing, like games such as Far Cry, for example. You're a SWAT officer. Every step feels like it could be your last, mainly because it can be. The world building isn't just in the environments, it's in the tension, the way the game forces you to feel the stakes. A suspect might surrender, or they might lunge at you, desperate and wild. And it's those little moments that stick with you. Then there's the bigger moments, a civilian ducking as they're caught in the crossfire, or the way a suspect's body crumples after you pull the trigger. The sound design amplifies it, the thud of boots, the sharp crack of a breached door, the silence that follows after a cleared room, and the music design is incredibly well done. It's a world where every action leaves a mark, and the beauty lies in how it mirrors reality, messy, unforgiving and human. You don't just play Ready or Not, you live it. Every moment you spend clearing a location feels real. It's amazing how this game is able to captivate the people the way it does. A canvas of decay. The visuals and themes tie it all together, painting a picture that's as stunning as it is bleak. The glint of shell casings on the floor, the way light flickers through shattered windows. It's a canvas of decay, and the game uses it to tell stories without words. In the mission Elephant, you're walking through a community college after a mass shooting. There's a backpack spilled open in the hallway, textbooks soaked in blood, and a chalkboard still marked with a lesson cut short. It's impossible not to feel the loss. The prominent details, the bodies, the chaos hit you first, but it's the subtle ones that linger. A flickering exit sign, the distant wail of sirens. The game doesn't glorify this violence, it mourns it. That's where the beauty hides. In the care put into every frame, every shadow, every single part of every mission. The worst of the worst. In this game, there are some truly horrible places and even more horrible people, which after playing for some time we realise that there are some that are just so much more unforgivingly more terrible than all of the rest. This is the house of Amos Vol, a very famous adult actor in this game. And as you can see, it's a far cry from the run-down, methed up streets of Los Sueños we're used to after playing this game. But it's hiding something. Hiding something within that is possibly the worst thing I have seen in a game, ever. As we enter the basement, we can see a hopscotch board on the floor. A little out of place, don't you think? In an adjacent room, we can find a recording room with children's furniture. Again, a little out of place. We then go deeper, and we find a dark room with countless photos of minors, and deeper into the same room there is a large mural of two clearly underage girls with disturbing writing all around them. But the worst is still to come, if you can believe it. In the last room in the basement, we see a hall filled with barrels, children's clothes, and toys. It doesn't take a wild imagination to know what Amos Vol did here.
Fucking Bolton security. Useless.
And then there's the elephant, which we've covered already. It's possibly one of the most controversial things ever done in a game, taking a real horrific event that has shook many lives and putting it into a game that upset many people. However, to me, Ready or Not is not a game. It's a depiction of horrible real events where the player plays as a SWAT team, going in to gain control of the situation. However, oftentimes in Ready or Not, we don't feel like the saviours of these civilians. We feel like a clean-up crew, too late to prevent real damage. Nowhere is this so prominent as Neon Nightclub. Happiness in hell. After all of this, you can assume that this world is terrible. However, there can be happiness in hell. For instance, in Ends of the Earth, 3 desperate children have turned to crime to support their mother's cancer treatment, as they now find themselves in a deep pit of debt. Although illegal, the children have started manufacturing gun parts because they are so desperate to keep their mother and their family together. And this is the only map where I genuinely wanted to use less than lethal options. These characters feel like real people. They're suffering just like we can. Then there's the vineyard, the Cherryessa farm. The motive of this Cherryessa farm, the vineyard, is very clearly positive, as they're wanting to help these girls that have been assaulted. It's just they've done it in a way that paints themselves as a psychopathic, zealous cult that kills men. It's a bit rocky ground there. That is the horrifying, yet beautiful world of Ready or Not. It's a game that builds a world so vivid, so broken, that stays with you. The subtle details etched into every tiny nook and cranny of this fictional universe makes an extraordinary experience that sets it apart from any other game. Even if it's as tiny as post-it notes dotted around the map, or as big as the story of the Left Behind, the group protesting for justice against an oppressive governmental system. If you haven't played this game, I would seriously recommend it. I've been Magic Bird. Thank you for watching.